Hey everybody, Alan here. Real quick, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to take care of a few things. We spent the day talking about a short film Ryan and I worked on as part of the 48-hour film project in Philadelphia a few weeks ago. So if you haven't seen the film yet, there will be a link in the description on iTunes and on Podbean for this episode. And as always, go check out our Facebook page. I'll also have it posted there. Also, I did a very quick edit on this episode, so it's probably rough around the edges. I just wanted to get it out to you guys. We'll have a new episode coming out very soon, Dog Day afternoon. I think we talk about it a little bit in here, and things just got in the way, and I haven't had a chance to upload these two, so it'll be coming faster than you expect. So we're trying to get more consistent with these episodes, so bear with us. We're still adjusting to our schedules, so without further ado, take it past Alan and Ryan. So I got a thing in the mail the other day from Stamps.com.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did Stamps.com send me anything?
Yeah.
'Cause I always listen to them sponsoring podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really hoping they wanted to sponsor us. But no, it was just junk mail. So no. This podcast is not brought to you by Stamps.com.
It is not brought to you by Stamps.com.
So, yeah. Welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're going to take a little bit of a detour from what we usually do this week. Ryan and I have been friends for a few years now.
Yes, we have.
In the past year, I've gotten you to do a few things that you've never done.
Yes.
A few months ago, we went to Comic-Con, and it was your first.
And that was great.
And it was only my second. I've been doing this podcast for about a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
And this weekend, we did something that I've done before, but you've never done.
No, and it was fun.
For anyone listening who doesn't know our background, Ryan and I met working retail.
Mm-hmm.
I was working retail through college while I got my degree in film and video at Penn State. And I got transferred to a store where I had full time a little bit after college, and I met Ryan there.
Mm-hmm.
And
I had been working for the same company for about, maybe like 10 years at that point after high school.
yeah.
And you came into work grocery, and I was the part manager at the time.
Yeah.
And we just kind of linked up, started talking about movies.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't realize it then, but that was kind of where this was eventually headed to anyway.
So this past weekend, we took part in the 48-hour film project,
Which I had never heard of up until a couple days ago.
Anybody listening who doesn't know what that is, actually, real quick, can you unplug those headphones for me? I've got sound coming out of the computer. I just want to stop it and hand them here.
Okay. There you go.
Easiest way to fix this.
There we go.
That was really loud.
Okay.
Yeah, your mic's still working, so.
Okay, we're good.
So yeah, anyone who doesn't know what a 48-hour film project is, what it is you're given a prop, a character,
A line
a line of dialogue,
and a theme.
and a genre.
With genre.
Genre.
Yeah, genre.
So, we did this with a few of my friends from college, a few of whom you've met.
Chad.
You met Chad before.
Yeah.
You've met Bill.
Yes,
Bill wasn't
yeah.
actually there. He was in New York, and he wrote the whole thing for us, which was a huge help.
Yeah.
But then we were at my friend Pat's house, where his parents live in Allentown, and that we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yo, that was
And
fun.
then,
That was great.
And then my friend Devin, who I've known since high school, came out with Chad.
Yeah.
Because they're like best friends in Pittsburgh now. So, so we did this in Allentown. It was for the Philadelphia Film Project, but we did it in Allentown because that's where Pat was stationed.
Yes.
So we went up for the weekend. We actually went up pretty early.
Yeah, we did.
We both had off Friday, so we went up for the day, and then you gave me the grand tour of the area.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool.
It is, and it's an area that I'm proud that I'm from, but it's a place that I probably wouldn't go back to live because it's getting busy.
Yeah,
and it's not a knock, and this is not a knock against the Lehigh Valley, Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton. It's really not. It's just it's getting it's becoming an urban center because you've got people from Philly and New York moving there because they'd rather commute to work like the hour and a half and then live in that area,
Yeah.
which says a lot about the area. But yeah, no, we spent about 3.5 to 4 hours of me driving you around
Yeah.
from like Bethlehem
Yeah,
to
we had a lot of
Allentown
time to
through
kill.
Easton. Yeah,
Because in true Chad fashion, Chad was running late. So, so we drove around. It was also Music Fest weekend. So,
yeah. So the traffic was bad.
I was trying to convince you to sneak into the Santana concert.
Yeah, but that wasn't going to happen.
I know.
Believe me, I've
Like,
known
a
people
man
who have
can
tried.
dream.
I know
A man can dream.
people have tried to sneak into concerts at Music Fest.
Yeah.
Some have succeeded. A lot have not.
Yeah.
I was trying to go for something a little
But
bit
hey,
more.
it gives
than-
you a story.
It does.
So this is your first filmmaking experience. And I told you at one point, like, this isn't how it usually goes.
Yeah.
That might have been about the food, though.
Yes. It was
Let's talk
about
about
the
that
food.
quick.
Yeah.
So we get to Pat's parents' house, and his mom and his dad, like his family, is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And we walk in the door. We're not even the door 2 minutes, and they have beer for us. And we're like, you know what? No one else is here yet. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
We've got time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting around drinking our beer, and then the food comes out, and it's just you and I.
Yes.
And it is a feast.
Is Pat's mom, his parents, grow their own vegetables in this
Yeah.
garden. I didn't get to see it, but it must have been a huge garden because there was a lot of food, and it had to be the best soup I've ever had.
Yeah, that
like
soup
it was
was
amazing.
delicious.
It was amazing. It was all homemade, all grown ingredients. Like, oh my god, it was great.
Yeah. So I turned to you, and I was like, when the actual meal came out after the soup,
Mhm.
I was like, don't get used to this on a set. This is not what craft services usually looks like. And we were sending pictures to everyone. I'll probably post a few on Facebook
Yeah.
when this episode goes up, so just so people can follow along with our journey of the weekend. But yeah, I was just saying, like, everyone else was running late and not there yet because we knew there would be some time because Pat had to go to Philadelphia to get the genre, get the character, get all
Yeah.
of that. So we were waiting on him to get back,
Mm-hmm.
and we were waiting on Chad to show up because Chad runs late
Yeah.
every time. So
His keyword of advice if he ever shows up for a job interview to be like an organ runner, no. No, it'd be the worst job for him, be an organ runner.
yeah. So we were like, I was like sending pictures of the food to everyone, trying to get them to show up, and we had our first pre-production meeting over the phone with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was driving, so we went out to your car and just
Yeah.
put them on speaker and talked to them that way.
Yeah.
So when we got everything, the genre was horror or fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Our character was
Kyle Greentree.
Kyle or Kayla Greentree.
Yeah.
We had to use thread as a prop,
Mhm.
and we had to include the line of dialogue.
I can't.
I can't wait, or
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Mhm.
Like some variation on that line. So
Mhm.
can or cannot or can't. So we started writing around Friday night. Like everyone pitched their ideas. You had a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Everyone had really good ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
A few of them we couldn't probably do. Like
No, just the amount of time that was needed to like do
and
everything wasn't
one thing
didn't
we have
work.
to include. The character was also a certified mixologist.
Yes.
So that was an obstacle
Mhm.
because we didn't have a bar.
No.
A lot of the ideas that we came up with needed a bar.
Yeah.
So a few of them were like, well, that would be great if we had a bar,
Yeah.
even though I had a bar in my apartment back here in Shippensburg.
Yeah.
But that's gone now.
Yes.
I got rid of it.
Really?
Yeah, it's down in the basement in pieces.
Oh.
So you know anyone who wants a bar, this goes to you and anyone listening. If anybody wants a bar, I have one. They can take it. It's in pieces. Like I didn't break it.
It came apart.
I didn't know it folded up. I would have gotten rid of it years ago if I knew that. So, yeah.
Okay.
So we started writing.
Yeah.
And then we ate more.
Yes. And then we ate more.
Yeah, we ate the soup, started writing, had our pitch meeting, and then we came back and there was real food.
And she had it was stuffed cabbage and
Yeah, ribs,
ribs.
corn on the cob,
Mm-hmm.
potatoes.
So was that kielbasa?
Kielbasa.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
It
wonderful.
was wonderful.
Like, I haven't eaten that well.
All local too.
Yeah.
All of it was all local.
I haven't eaten that well in years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the whole weekend. Like, everything was fresh and
Yeah.
like it was wonderful. And then Pat and Sarah were like, it's not like this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So Friday night we started. Our friend Bill was in New York writing the script, and once we got the script, we started discussing it. We had a video chat with him.
Mm-hmm. We started making, I guess, amendments to it.
Yeah, we
Should say.
giving our notes, and the weirdest note that anyone gave. And I love Pat, but the most ridiculous note was Bill had an idea where this guy can't drink his stuff
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't like the taste. So
He's a pansy.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a wimp. And so what Bill's solution to that was he covers it in he puts whipped cream on top and then he can drink it.
Yeah.
So Pat had a
meltdown
yeah,
over this.
He did not like the idea of whipped cream. And we spent about 20 minutes discussing the pros and cons of him putting whipped cream in the drink.
Aw.
And it was ridiculous.
It was.
And it just got to the point where it was like, would you settle for a packet of Splenda? So,
And then it went to a juice box.
yes, it turned into a juice box.
It turned into a juice box, which I think worked very well.
Yeah. It did. Especially because I used it for the... we used hug barrels.
Yes.
And I used the lid of one for the seal on his certificate of mixology
Mhm.
to make him a certified mixologist. So we ended up making him a mixologist / alchemist.
Yeah.
So he made potions as well.
Yeah. Because it was the only way for us to get into the fantasy horror part of
Yeah.
it.
And I think it worked out well for us
Mhm.
because it would make sense that somebody who has that would also do that.
Yeah.
So Friday night was a long night.
Yes, it was.
We were probably up until 3:00 just doing pre-production work. We had actors lined up. We had
Yeah.
an actor and an actress, Rick and
Whitney.
And so we knew they were coming the next day, so we didn't have to worry about casting anyone. So we're
Yes,
like, okay,
no.
we have an actor and an actress.
And it worked out
We'll
great.
write
Yeah.
something for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did. We ended up going to Walmart at one point.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that in a bit. But Friday night was also your crash course in
Sound.
sound mixing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, because I actually wasn't there for that. My role in this whole thing was I was co-director with
Tom.
Tom,
Yeah.
who I believe was a friend of Chad's.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how he got involved in it. So
Mhm.
him and I were off discussing ideas and how we wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And what kind of feel we were going for. So Friday night, a lot of the discussion was just him and I on the phone with Bill talking about the script. So
Mhm.
we left, we were all stationed in Pat's basement, and that sounds weird. We were all in the basement, so at some point, Tom and I went off to discuss the script outside,
Mm-hmm.
just so it was quiet and we could collect our thoughts.
Yeah.
So, but while I was doing that, you were getting a crash course in sound.
Yeah, I was with Chad, and pretty much he explained that I was going to use the pole I was using,
Boom pole.
the boom pole. He basically told me, he was like, this is made for a camera, but you're going to use it for a boom pole.
Yeah.
And so he explained that a little bit, and then he showed me what the style of mic was for the microphone, and then how the different sleeves work and what they're for. How the foam one's more for inside use, and then you have the one that's called like the Muppet or the Dead Cat or whatever, like that. Like that one's for outside.
Yeah.
And then about sound angles, making sure that that you're always in a position to catch sound because it goes up.
Yeah.
So to always make sure that you have it in the right position. levels on the like recorder that I had to make sure it doesn't go between two, because if it goes too loud, it just turns into noise. It's not really anything that can be used. Just really keeping an ear out for stuff in the background, which was difficult for me, I'll fully admit, because I couldn't tell if I had the mic down to the point where I was only picking stuff if I was picking stuff up only within like a 1 foot radius, and what I was hearing in the background was coming through the headphones, or if it was coming through the speakers in the headphones. Like I was having trouble with that, and so that was the one thing.
I will say you did a really good job for the first time doing sound. The issues we had with sound were not your fault. We filmed at this barn and cornfield that seemed to be right next to a major highway, even though it was a country road. There were so many cars going by that day that there's going to be a supercut of me calling action and then hold for traffic. Like I had to do it like every take. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so the only sound issues we had were because of that.
Yeah.
So good job. You did a really good job.
Yeah, no, and I actually really loved it, because it was one of those things where like I didn't, you and all of your friends everybody that you knew up there, you guys all know more about the actual like shots, lighting, angles than I do.
Yeah.
So me working with the sound was honestly a better option. And I don't know if this even helps or not, but I've always been somebody to play with my car stereo. Like I play with the bass and the treble constantly to make sure that certain songs sound right when I'm driving. To the point where I tend to do bad things and tend to get caught up trying to do that while I'm driving.
Yeah.
But so listening for the sound and just making sure that that their voices were coming through right, making sure that the wind wasn't, blocking them too much, making sure that the sheep on the first floor of the barn wasn't coming through when she was talking.
I forgot. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shot in the barn at one point.
Yeah,
and there were sheep downstairs. So we'd call action, and they'd deliver a line of dialogue, and all you hear is "Brrrr."
So it was fun. It's definitely something that I want to get into now.
Yeah.
Like it was that much fun for me.
You definitely got a crash course.
Yeah.
And we'll get in. We'll talk about that a little bit more later.
Yeah.
So we went to Walmart that night, and there's nothing like a Walmart run with Chad on an electric scooter
At
Walmart
at close to 1 a.m.
Because Chad had done something to his knee, so he was kind of
limping
out
around
for the count.
Yeah.
But so we go into Walmart. He's driving around with the cart, and so we're dodging the maintenance people at night because it's night and they're cleaning. And
Mm-hmm.
they're waxing the floors and all that. So that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
We got what we needed,
Yes.
and then we went into Walmart. It wasn't raining out.
No.
We left Walmart.
It was pouring.
And it was like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that storm had blown its way through Shippensburg because you were getting messages from your wife about how bad the storm was.
She sent me video,
Yeah.
and it looked like a movie, like lightning set.
Yeah.
Like it looked like there was a war going on with all of the flashes. So I mean,
Not yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Chad and Devin used that as an excuse as to why they were running so late.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll buy that a little bit.
Yeah.
It caught up to us,
Mm-hmm.
and getting back to Pat's from Walmart was fun because we got back and it was buckets of rain falling. We're like, you know what? We're just gonna have to run for it.
Yeah.
That's the only way this is gonna work. So we ran for it, and I think Devin had to go out twice.
Yeah.
I think Chad left his phone in his car, so they got back inside. Chad's got the bad knee,
Mm-hmm.
so he asked Devin to go back outside and get his phone for him. So poor Devin came back in soaked.
Yeah.
But we got back from Walmart. We were supposed to do more stuff, but I think everyone was so tired.
Yeah, we were.
Tom and I were just like, you know what? No, we'll do the shot list in the morning.
Yeah.
Like it's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we woke up, did our shot list, which is we go through and tell the camera guy, okay, we want to do this we want to do this shot, pretty much how we're going to cover the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I had come up with an idea that I had dubbed the fin shot.
Fin shot, yes.
And I am very proud of the fin shot because it worked. It worked out
Yes.
exactly like I wanted it to. Wish the sky was a little bit more blue. But when I say fin shot, listeners, if you remember the Force Awakens trailer, the one where Snoke's giving his dialogue, I think it was the first trailer.
Yeah, it was the first trailer.
You just see the desert, and then Finn pops up. We did something like that where we started on the sky, and it came down to the cornfield, and then we had our actor Rick pop up in the
Pop
screen.
up, yeah.
And we shot that scene second.
Mhm.
That was the second scene we shot on Saturday, and that was the last shot we did for the day because I forgot to get it. Like
Yeah.
I was all for getting it, and then with
We had so much
setups,
other stuff
we had
going
so
on.
much other stuff going on, and then it worked out because of where the sun was. Like, okay, well, let's just wait until the end of the day
Mhm.
and get it quick because that'll work out fine, and it did.
Mhm.
So, what was your experience like on set? Like, what did you think of?
I thought it
actually
was
being
fun.
on set?
I mean, pardon me. One of the things that one thing that I kind of assumed it might happen is that everybody kind of goes off in their like job position and gets things set up. So like Pat and I think AJ it was went off and they got like the camera set up
Yeah.
and they got all of that stuff taken care of. You and Tom went off to the side to look at the barn and the field to kind of get of where and what angle you guys wanted each shot to be done in.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chad kind of did a revamp of the crash course he did the night before with me, making sure that everything was going to go right. And that's where the duct tape ended up on the pole to keep the wire still
Oh,
on it. So that's when
Okay.
that happened.
yeah, I saw that, and I didn't really think anything of it. I just kind of okay, yeah, they did that, so the wire didn't move.
Yeah, so that's because I mean it's like we were going through it, and because the quote unquote boom pole wasn't really a boom pole, like it was making all these like predator type noises
Yeah,
in the sound, like it was like almost
yeah,
like
you were
ticking.
using a monopod.
Yeah, that's
Beca-
what
because
that's-
for some
that's
reason
what he
we
said.
didn't have a boom pole.
Mm-hmm.
So
It was making noises regardless of
Yeah.
what I did have.
how heavy
half
was
the time?
that thing?
It was stupid heavy,
Okay,
to be
yeah,
honest.
because boom poles are light.
Yeah,
and
no,
monopods are ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that
So-
was. I mean, granted, I mean, it wasn't like heavy. It was what you would expect to be like a one stand for a camera, but when you're holding it up above your head, it gets heavy.
Yeah,
And the problem is the wire. I had it wrapped around the pole, and it wasn't working. Like every time I'd even just move a finger, like
Mhm.
it would make the wire move, and then you'd hear the clicks all the way down.
yeah.
So Chad put duct tape on it, which I think Tom was going to hit him over the head with about later.
I don't know if it was duct tape. It might have been gaff tape.
It might have been gapping tape. It was about as
gaff, not
gaff,
gapping.
gaff.
Film
It was-
terms.
Yeah, film
Yeah.
terms. Okay. Well, anyway, so it looked like black duct tape to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he did that to cut the sound down. They put the mic in a stand or in a hold that wasn't specifically designed for the mic.
Mhm.
It was actually designed to hold a camera still instead. So it was kind of like a rubberized thing to help like the shock
Yeah.
to a camera not be as bad. Well, they put the mic in it instead.
Yeah.
So I was really working with like a jerry rigged
Yeah.
like boom pole and setup.
Yeah, that's the thing with this. Like, we were very low budget.
No
so-
budget actually.
No budget. So we were working with whatever anyone had.
Yeah, and
So
it worked
I brought
out though.
I
It
brought
worked
a few
out.
things. I brought a lot of costumes.
Yes, you did.
Which worked out to our benefit.
Yes.
Because I brought two jackets, one that's mine and one that's my wife's.
Hmm.
And the way the script was written, the two characters are wearing the same thing at one point.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, hey, we have that. We're doing that
Yeah.
because we can.
Hmm.
So that worked out for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as gear goes, it was,
Yeah.
okay, who's got what? Who's
Yeah.
doing this?
And we had a lot of stuff. I mean, we had everything from normal tripods to all of the stuff needed to make like a jury-rigged boom pole.
Yeah, we had a shoulder
And,
mount,
a shoulder mount, which we used, and then AJ brought a what's it called?
kind of a steady cam.
A steady
It
cam?
was a
It was one of those
lower
where
end-
like you
not
can
lower
put weights
end,
on
but-
it to help,
yeah.
but he didn't because it would take too much time.
Yeah.
But still, it still worked.
it helps you get like move with the camera and keep it steady.
Mhm.
So, if you ever see the Goodfellas, the scene where they go through the innards of the club and out to
Mhm.
the like that's all on Steadicam.
Yeah.
So, but those things are the ones that they would use for like Goodfellas are huge. That one is like
A tiny one.
yeah.
Yeah.
For something like this,
Yeah.
it works out great. And
Mhm.
it did because we used it for a lot of the running in the cornfield, and that stuff turned out fantastic.
Yes.
Like I directed everything in the cornfield, and Tom took most of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the cornfield stuff, I was just amazed at how good it looks.
It turned out amazing. It
Um,
really did.
We're not going to get into too many details about what the movie is.
Mhm.
We're going to let you guys watch it at some point.
Yeah.
We have access to it, but I'm waiting for it to go public.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to get my copy back so I can make a few tweaks and give it a director's cut. Maybe. I don't know. But once it's out, we'll post it to the page here
Yeah.
on Facebook and let everyone know about it.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, the one of the things that I took away from this entire
Mhm.
experience was one that I definitely want to get into, like the whole sound thing more.
okay.
Like I'm not sure exactly what it's called. I was just calling it sound engineering
That's
because
pretty
it's-
much it, yeah.
Because it was
Sound engineer, sound mixing.
it's one of those things where like I was involved and I like being involved in things and being sound. I was involved in everything. Like every shot I had to be there, obviously because there's sound that has to be captured. One thing that I tried to do, which I kind of rookie mistake doing, I tried to get like background noise or I for some reason in my head I kept on calling it ambient noise.
Mm-hmm.
Just like background, the wind blowing,
Yeah.
through the corn or this and that. Didn't really let you guys know I was doing that, so you could hear Chad laughing in the background throughout the
Yeah.
entire thing. But it's one of those things where I really want to get more into it
Yeah.
because it's something that really interests me. I was involved in all of the shots. I think that I was able to, on the spot, kind of creatively think of ways to get the sound without being in line of the camera. I wasn't yelled at once for having
Yeah,
the mic in screen.
We never, to be fair, we didn't have a monitor, so we couldn't really tell if you were.
Yeah,
Because it was such a small, the screen was smaller than my phone.
yeah,
But we couldn't really tell that if you were on, we didn't have to yell boom and shot.
yeah.
But even in post, we didn't see it at all. It was nothing we had to cut around.
Yeah.
So good job on that.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's one thing that was that's one thing I was very happy about. And then that thing that I was handed, like the recorder,
Yeah.
like that, like when Chad first brought that thing out, I thought it was a stun gun. Like I seriously thought
Mhm.
it was like a stunner because of the way that the two little mics are on the
Yeah.
top because they kind of face each other at an angle. And just working with that thing and just playing with it because I spent about an hour to an hour and a half just walking around with it turned on, listening to you talk about, after my, brief overview again with Chad, I just
Mhm.
spent an hour and a half following people around, listening to
you did.
conversations to get
It was
the...
funny to watch because I would just be having a conversation with Tom or
Mhm.
Devin or somebody, and you'd just be standing there with the boom pole 5 feet away
Yeah.
and just nodding your head I got this.
Yeah, because because I was trying to listen and get the sound down because I was also trying to train myself that the right side, well, now I can't remember, but I think it's the right side was the volume for the headset, and the left side was the mic volume for pickup. So I was trying to make sure to train myself, be like, okay, so this is the headphones and this is the mic. This is the headphones, this is the mic. Because I wanted to be able to, in the middle of a shot, if I had to, lower the sensitivity on the mic.
Yeah.
If I started hearing stuff for like a split second, I could start turning down the mic. I could turn down the sensitivity on the mic without it being too obvious or me
Yeah.
getting it wrong. So that's why I spent like an hour and a half just following people around, just playing with it,
Yeah.
just trying to get it down. So when we actually started shooting, I didn't have to say cut or,
Yeah.
stop guys because I, messed something up. So I think that's what helped me going through it, was doing that.
Yeah, that
So-
definitely helps. And you, like I said before, you did a great job. Like, I'm excited that you were bit by the bug and want to do more of it.
Oh, I do. I do want to
So,
do more of this.
But we'll get into that. So we shot all day Saturday.
Got sunburned.
Got very sunburned. I still have the farmer's tan a little bit.
Yeah, no, my arms are starting to itch, which means I'm going to start peeling soon.
Yeah.
For all of you to know.
Yes. We share all details.
Yes, we do.
On this podcast. So then Saturday night we went into post production, and then it was a lot of, hey, let's go to Wawa and then come back and watch Rick and Morty.
Yes.
While Chad edits. So, yeah. So what did you think of the whole post production process?
It reminded me a lot of when I was going to commercial art class when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Because I originally went to school to be went to school. I went to VOTEC, and normally
Yeah.
people go to VOTEC, they think of masonry, plumbing, electric,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. Well, and cooking and stuff like that. Well, I went for commercial. They called it commercial art, which is basically graphic design.
Yeah.
But so it's like magazine layouts, billboard layouts, ad campaigns, going over ideas for commercials, stuff like that. And I did that for 3 years, and that's what I wanted to do. Obviously, I'm not. So,
Yeah.
But and that was my choice because I got to the point where it was my senior year, and finally the teacher decided to go over what the actual business atmosphere is like, and I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So no, but still. So the editing process reminded me a lot of what I did in Photoshop back in high school for those classes, because we did have to do some film stuff. Now, we didn't do any of the filming, we had to do the editing, but it still kind of reminded me of that. And when I used to work with PowerPoint, I know two very basic programs. The programs you guys were using, it would have taken me a week to figure out doing it cold. But I mean, it was just Chad sitting there with his demon Ninja Turtle hat thing on. I don't know what that is.
It was something from League of Legends, I guess.
Okay.
But he
He's-
looked ridiculous.
He's just sitting there with his hat on.
So I'll post a picture of that to the Facebook. But yeah. So post production, it was a lot of waiting around.
It was. And I got to watch a baseball game, and I was happy about
Yeah, you
that.
got to watch.
On a wall.
There was a projector.
Yeah.
So we got to watch everything on the wall.
Yes, we did.
And then after the baseball game, everyone's like, "We should watch Rick and Morty."
Yes.
And Devin had Hulu, but he didn't have it on his phone.
And I brought my Chromecast
And
so
you
we
brought
could
your
connect
Your
it.
Chromecast.
Yeah.
So I downloaded Hulu, signed into Devin's account, and we watched Rick and Morty on the TV. So now I have Devin's Hulu account,
Yes.
which I will be using
Hear that,
until
Devin?
he tells me not to.
But
I mean, if he has a problem with it, I won't.
yeah.
But
I was just so everybody knows, this is making a movie's teamwork.
Yes.
It really is. The cameraman has to be working with the director to make sure that the shot is right. The sound guy has to be off to the side, not really hearing everything that's being said, but looking at where they're setting up. And it is one thing I was doing. If you can't hear them, you have to see what they're doing. If you see that they're moving the camera one direction, you have to be able to mentally know what the shot's going to look like, and to know where out of frame is, and then be able to put the mic in a position to actually pick sound up.
Yeah.
So whether that's underneath, to the side, or on top. So it does take teamwork, and a lot of it is just looking to see what the other person is doing, not having to ask and just doing. That's what I truly believe making that movie set us up for that night, because we said after the game, after I was done watching the Cardinals play, somebody said Rick and Morty. It was like, oh yeah, sure, Rick and Morty. But I didn't have the options to play Rick and Morty on my phone, and I was the one, and it was on my phone that I was projecting onto the Chromecast onto Pat's projector onto the wall to watch.
Yeah.
So we had to find out who who had an app available to watch Rick and Morty? It was Devin.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't get Devin's phone to work with the Chromecast, but your phone worked for the Chromecast. So we had Devin's account, your phone, my Chromecast, Pat's projector,
Yeah.
all working together so we could watch Rick and Morty.
Yes, and it worked out.
It worked beautifully.
We watched the whole first season,
Yes, we did.
and then I fell asleep going into the second season
Yes, you did.
because I was like, I'm going to bed, guys.
Yeah.
We've got to wake up.
It was getting close to like 2:30, 3 in the morning again, and we had to
Yeah.
be up at like 7
Yeah.
because we had to make sure that everything was done and completed because
Yeah.
Pat had to go back out and pick up some stuff. I had to see family early that morning because it's
Yeah.
been forever since I've been in Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, because we were shooting in Allentown, we had an earlier time that we had to have it finished because Pat had to drive back to Philly,
Yeah.
and it made it.
Mhm.
So, but we were cut back by 2 hours, so it was really instead of a 48, it was more like a 44-hour film.
Yeah.
test.
Which we got it to
So,
work.
yeah, we
which
got
I'm
it to
very
work.
happy about.
But it just means Sunday morning we were really cut for pushing it for time.
Mhm.
So I woke up before everyone else, and Chad was working on a rough cut of the film. So I got up and I just got on the computer and looked at what he had and made notes of what we needed. There were a few
Mhm.
pickup shots we had to do.
It was the one mistake I made with the ambient noise is that Pat had to go back out and re-record the
and
corn sound.
Even that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, no. Like I
Because
said, like to
it-
me, like that's something like it was my first time, and I'm very hard on myself about things because I want to prove that that there's some things I went through when I was a kid, and I just want to. It's something that
Yeah.
I'm trying to live with the rest of my life. That I always want to prove that I can do everything that
Yeah.
I try to put my mind to, and so even though like I'm really hard on myself about that. That was one of those things where it was like first time doing it. I
Yeah.
seriously thought Chad laughing wasn't coming through the mic. I thought it was one of those things where I was hearing
Yeah.
behind me
Mm-hmm.
through the headphones, not
Yeah.
through the speakers. So there was that. But like I said, I love the experience.
Yeah, and the thing with the ambient sound is I probably would have told you not to worry about it in the cornfield
Yeah.
just because of the traffic.
Yeah.
And Pat lived in a smaller neighborhood, so there wasn't nearly as many cars going that fast.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out fine. Like
Yeah.
like don't beat yourself over.
Yeah, no,
over
I'm
it.
not.
It's-
I'm not.
Uh,
Yeah, no,
So-
like I said, rookie mistake. It's something that happens. I'm going to learn from that. But
Yeah.
like, this is something I really
so
want to get
we
into. So,
pushed through and got post production done, and it was a lot of alternating between me and Chad at the computer.
mm-hmm.
Getting everything color corrected, cutting it the way I wanted to, and we forgot a few things when we shot. We forgot to get one of the voiceovers,
Yeah.
and I couldn't remember if Tom and I had decided that we were just cutting it or if we just didn't film it. So I had the actress record it on her phone and mail it to me,
Yeah.
and
It worked
if we wanted-
beautifully.
yeah, the way it worked out was wonderful. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I came up with that. Like, go me.
Praise yourself when it's warranted, Alan.
Yeah,
You can praise yourself on that one.
I usually beat myself up, but I'm good with that one. That and the fin shot.
Mm-hmm.
But we pushed through, and it got to the point where we had to export. And there are a few things I would have changed, but overall, I'm really happy with what we came out with.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it on the projector,
Yeah.
which was nice.
Because we caught a couple things
Yeah, we caught a couple
that were
things.
fixed before we
Yeah, well,
dropped
they
it in.
weren't at first.
Oh, yeah.
Like we watched the final exported version that we were submitting, and there was one clip where the video and the dialogue weren't lined up.
No.
Because when we were doing this, the dialogue was being recorded separately,
Yeah.
and that's why you slate. In case
Mhm.
anyone doesn't know this, you slate so you can line it up in post production.
Yeah.
And somehow the one clip got unaligned.
Yeah.
So we're like,
There was a
well,
lot of moving around when it comes to sound clips,
Yeah.
too. So something
So-
happened somewhere.
we're like, well, it's not that bad. It's okay. We'll just deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. And then Pat and Sarah had to leave to go to Philly. And then not even 5 minutes later, they come back. We have an extra hour because there being no traffic. So
Yeah.
we'll fix it.
Yeah.
So they fixed it. And then pretty much right around then, everyone left.
Yeah.
Like, everyone left and went home and tried to make it back in time for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So it was a good weekend.
It was a
I'm
good
still
weekend.
exhausted.
Yeah, and I've been working every day straight since
Yeah,
then.
me too.
Yeah, it's been fun though. Like I seriously, when I get downtime, and I was thinking about this on the drive back, like I'm definitely going to go to YouTube and look up some videos about like tips and ways of like doing that, because this is something that I'm actually really interested now. Like
Oh, good.
it's like I can see myself eventually in not in the like near future, but in the distant future, possibly actually spending some real money on equipment for this,
Yeah,
depending on how often we do this.
yeah. Well, if you're really interested in sound design and sound mix, we do a podcast.
Oh, I know.
So-
like,
And this is a very basic setup.
yeah,
And I think I told you in the car, like if we had one of those mixers, our podcast would sound so much better.
yeah, I know.
But right now we're recording it on my laptop. And, it is what it is.
It is what it is,
So-
but still, I mean,
That
it's
humming noise that everyone probably hears bugs me, but I don't know if anyone else can hear it.
yeah, but it's something that I never really thought about before. But at the same time, like this really fits for like. I like retail because it's never ending,
Yeah.
and I go from like one situation to another. Nothing half the time, nothing really gets resolved except for each customer issue. But at the same time, it's something that keeps me busy, and I like that.
Yeah.
There's a different part of me though, where when I work on something, I like to see it finished and it to be done and over with. And working on this project, that's exactly what it was. We had a beginning, middle, and an end, and then a finished product, and then
Yeah.
it was done.
Yeah.
And then you don't work on something else until another project comes along, and then again it's beginning, middle, end, finished project.
Yeah.
And that's that one side of me that kind of gets a little bit annoyed when it comes to the retail spectrum, even though I've kind of planted my flag in this as being my career. But it's this would be something like a good stress reliever on the side, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much work there is in just a sound guy, especially
You'd be
around here.
surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, this weekend really, like every once in a while I'll get an itch to direct something.
Mm-hmm.
And you were there the one time
Yeah.
that we shot a short at the mall.
Yeah.
But I don't count that as a set because that was
No.
me and Chad and Todd. But like this weekend really they just made me want to direct more.
Yeah.
And I've been having conversations with Devin about his idea that he had going into the 48 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, because my wife was like, if you really liked his idea, you should do it. I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I should. So that night I messaged Devin. I was like, hey, do you want to make your idea short? He's like, I'm already writing it. So
Well, he already has a crew to work with at
he
this
already
point.
has a crew.
Yeah.
And it looks like we might be doing another 48
Yeah.
in October. So I'm all in for that. I don't know
Yeah.
if you are.
No, I just got to see if
off.
if things work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think things will work out for me. So
Yeah.
I have a little bit of PTO left. I still have to take off for Comic-Con, so
There you go.
but I think it'll work out. But yeah, so I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Oh, it was fun. I really did. I mean, getting burnt, I mean, that's part of being
I
outside
think
and forgetting to
everyone
put
had fun.
sunscreen
And
on.
I know Chad had talked about he had a bad experience on a 48-hour in Pittsburgh.
Well, he was part of a big crew.
Yeah.
Like I have a feeling he was in a crew of like people who do this professionally. Like not the 48 hour, but like an actual professional director. Like the guy probably does commercials and kind of like low end stuff, but like what was it? There was we were getting info from another group that was in Philly shooting, and they were like a 52-man crew or something.
Yeah.
And they were getting to their last set at like 9:58 at night.
Yeah.
And that to me just shows the people who were running it do larger stuff normally, and they were trying to squeeze all of their like high-end stuff into like a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And everybody involved was doing this because they had time and they could show up, and everybody just wanted it to be fun. And Pat's parents helped it go along the way. Like they really like treated us extremely well.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a personal bit in for this for me, because like I go over there and like I've got a certain background in there's a certain background in my family, and when we pulled up and I saw what was in the backyard, and I just leaped for joy. I mean, it just I'll just say it. My dad's side of the family was really big about being Polish, and we pull in, and Pat's parents are Polish. He's Polish, and there's a Polish flag in the backyard on a flagpole, and I was like, yes, yes. And we go in, and I messaged my cousin about it, and she was excited about it too, and like it was Polish beer, it was Polish food, it was that like it was the work, it was that European like guest hospitality, and it was just amazing. Like I looked over to the TV, and there was a Steven Seagal movie being played, dubbed over in Polish, and I was just like, oh my god, I love this so much.
It was a great weekend.
Yeah.
So if anyone is listening to this who was on set with us, thank you.
Yes.
You made it a great experience. Everyone did their part. It was a blast. I'd love to work with everyone again. Tell your friends about the podcast. Tell your friends about the movie.
Yes.
We'll have it up on the page here eventually.
Yeah.
Once I get my hard drive back.
Yes.
Pat. But yeah, I could not be happier. Like, I've been kind of depressed all weekend, all week after this weekend.
Yeah.
Just because I had so much fun. And then I got back and watched Game of Thrones, and I got pissed. I was like, no.
Apparently, a lot of people did.
Well, no, it wasn't that I was upset about what happened.
Yeah.
I was just like, I watched my phone, like, okay, I've got another 10 minutes of this. And it ended 10 minutes early.
No.
And I was like, you fuckers. Like, what the hell? So I was like messaging Devin. I was like, did you guys make it back in time for Game of Thrones? Like, no, we're still driving. Like, no. So him and I have been talking about Game of Thrones all week.
Yeah.
So
well, it's one of those things too about everybody that was there. Like, it definitely made my first experience great because everybody was patient with me.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that really helped.
And I've worked with people who probably wouldn't have been. And
And
I'm very glad that we didn't have anyone who.
Yeah, that was one thing that almost everybody said. I heard either in person spoken to me or through the mic in the background. Yes, I did hear everything that was said on set. That everybody was saying that they were so grateful that there weren't any like egos on set. Like, everybody listened to everybody. Like, everybody took everybody's ideas somewhat seriously, and we combined almost everything that was said during that original call. We combined into this one.
And that's a huge credit to Bill. Like, he took little bits of everything.
Yeah. And it was just everything that like, I didn't really want to speak up at times because, like I said, I didn't go to school for this stuff. Like, this isn't my this wasn't my thing.
Your expertise in the matter was you have a movie podcast.
Yeah.
Where some jerk makes you watch movies you've never seen.
So I mean, I spoke up a few times when I thought maybe it was warranted, and it was a mix of being like, well, that's not really going to work, and it's like, yeah, as I'm saying it, I was kind of realizing that.
Yeah.
And then there were other times where my ideas were actually kind of like taking hold, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool. I'm actually part of this.
Yeah.
And it was just the whole thing of like experiencing the entire like feel on set and actually the culture of it, because I mean there's like words I've never heard spoken before. Like, I was trying to
we had some fun with that.
Like, I was trying to figure out like what you guys were talking about. I'm like,
we talked about we need a stinger, and you didn't know what that was.
Like, what the heck is a stinger? It's an extension cord.
Yeah, it's an extension cord. And then we had fun on set. And I was like, oh, wait until you hear about C-47s. And I yelled to everyone, don't tell them what a C-47 is. And then as we were exporting the film, I was like, okay, guess what a C-47 is.
And then I was like, it's a military plane. I have no idea.
It's a clothespin.
It's a clothespin. So...
And we didn't use any. So it's not like, hey, I need a C-47 over here. We shot all natural light. Except for a few indoor scenes. Like, most of it was natural. Everything I shot was natural light.
Yeah, and that was one thing too. Seeing the deflectors and seeing how the light that was used, seeing how that worked.
I've never seen a light like that before, though.
Yeah,
like, Pat just got those in. I was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah, and it was just the entire experience really like bit me when it comes to like really wanting to do this more.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely understand from stories I've heard from Chad and other people that there are times you go to a movie set and it's like you enjoy doing it, but there's one person that makes it absolutely awful.
Yeah.
So I understand that not every set's going, that not every set's like that. It's really who you work with. And that's something that Tom was talking about, if I remember correctly. He was saying that there are times it's just that, there's certain people that if you work with, you can't, it's an awful environment.
Yeah.
But, being in the position that I was, being that it was like brand new, that it was on like a small scale, I mean, it was fun. And it's like I said, it's definitely something I want to do again.
Yeah. And you'll get your chance. So, all right, everybody. That's all we've got for today. Dog Day Afternoon will be coming on Monday.
It should.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll put it up on Monday. But yeah, that's all we've got for today.
Mm-hmm.
So for You Have to Watch This podcast, I'm Alan.
And I'm Ryan.
And go make a movie.
Go make a movie.